Welcome to another Fox Squadron podcast. It's been quite a while since we've done it. Been busy for a couple weeks working on my end down in Mesa for TikTok in the Mix, and then came back up. Still really busy though afterwards for a couple weeks. We are now recording this as of December 23rd. Probably be releasing for New Year's. This is kind of the Christmas/New Year's-y episode. Not going to be any holiday themed things, unfortunately, but yeah, it'll be interesting nonetheless.
Come December 25th, we will be releasing a full Christmas video. It'll be 24 hours long.
Christmas stream. Alright, well, anyways, for today, we are mainly going to be talking about Strike Force again. Obviously, the most boring thing, probably in Legion. But we started it two podcasts ago, so we're going to finish it, because, we want to finish it. This one we'll be talking about the objectives, and then we will also be talking about a tier list of all the different strike forces. So that'll be the most interesting part. I guess if someone you know wants to play, then you can take the tier list, and hopefully our opinions help you decide on playing a good squad. Other news though, our next podcast will actually probably be about competitive list building, because we have a tournament coming up on January 13th for the store. Potentially a Worlds invite if there's enough people that sign up. I don't think so, but it is LVO practice. Neither of us are going to LVO, though other people will be, so we're going to be trying to get our competitive game up. So next podcast, we're probably going to be doing some list building for Separatist and Tempest Force, so stay tuned for that.
Most funny list mankind has ever seen.
Most funny list. I mean, you'll win the funny award, that's for sure. Don't need to win the actual game, just be funny. That's all you need.
It'll be one battle droid.
Well, you technically have to have 3 battle droid units and at least 1 commander. So to be funny, I feel like you probably take Grievous and 3 B1s. Yeah.
No, that's not funny enough.
Yeah, you gotta add more funny. Which we'll see basically. But anyways, switching over gears, we will go ahead and start looking at the Strike Force objectives. For Strike Force, obviously, it's like small teams of 6 to max 10 activations. And there's 4 different objectives for this mode. So the first one is bring down the shields. This is pretty much straight out of Scarif, to be honest. So setup, you place 3 consoles with the claim sides face up and 1 transmitter with the unclaimed side face down as shown. So 3 consoles, 1 transmitter. It looks like the transmitter is direct center of the map and the consoles are around it in a triangle kind of way. And each transmitter is, so 2 of the consoles are 16 inches away from one side of the board edge, and on the other side of the board edge, 1 is 12 inches away. And then the blue player is the defender, which is the blue point. They're at the 1 console that's 12 inches away from board edge. And they only deploy their core, commander, and heavy support units in the deployment zone. Everything else deploys later on during the rest of the mission. And then obviously the attacking team, which is red player, the furthest away from all the tokens, spawns with their entire force. And winning the game, if the attacker has 3 or more victory points anytime, they win the game immediately. And they have a way, and obviously later on we cover how they score. And at the end of the 4th round, the defender wins the game. So hold out for 4 rounds as defender. Attacker has to get VP points, and the way they do that is by interacting with the console. So, scenario rules. The attacker, all of the attacker's units gain the following action. Console action, which is just a free action, so you can do this once during your activation for free. Roll 3 black attack dice. If the unit making this action is a support unit, you may reroll 1 of those dice. If any of the results rolled match an uncovered slot on the transmitter card, you may put a victory token on that slot. And then you have to scroll all the way down to see where the transmitter card is. It's with the Separatist Infantry Squad. Not Infantry Squad, the Special Forces Squad. And basically there's 8 slots, 2 crit slots, 2 surge slots, and 4 hit slots. So you need to fill 6 of these. Blanks don't do any good, which is interesting. I feel like rolling 3 black dice at once with 1 reroll if you're support, you're probably, 2 rerolls if you're using the Republic or Infantry Squad or Separatist Infantry Squad, because their supports get an additional reroll. You're probably going to get 3 results like 2 hits and a surge, or a hit blank and a surge. So you're probably getting 2 to 3 with 2 or 1 rerolls. So supports are feeling pretty nice. If you're just rolling 3 blacks, like you're just a core unit, you're getting like 1 or 2 maybe. But obviously if you get like a hit and you already have 4 hits covered, then that doesn't help you. You need crits and surges now. But yeah, it seems interesting. And then to get the victory points, what you need to do is go over to the transmitter, which is in the center of the map. If our dock here will load from AMG, it's taken a little while. We're also trying to share the screen through Discord, so it's taking our CPU a little bit.
This is the page. They just submitted a white blank sheet of paper.
Right, if only.
Over and over again.
On them. Oh yeah. Okay, so then they have a transmitter action. So if they're right next to the transmitter, this is an actual action, not a free action. If 6 or more slots are filled, remove all victory tokens from the transmitter card. The attacker then scores 1 victory point. So consoles, the attackers roll attack dice, try to fill those slots up. If there's a support unit, gets a reroll. Some support units already have built-in rerolls for objective actions, so now they're getting 2. And the transmitter action once it has 6 things. So they basically need to fill up that card 3 times and then action the center 3 times. So they need to pretty much control at least 2 of the consoles and the transmitter. They could get this all in 1 round. Every unit can do this free action, so you could have like 6 guys do the free action, 1 guy stand on the center token and just take the victory point whenever it comes up. That's totally a legitimate strategy. So there's different ways to play there. The defenders, however, can also do stuff with consoles. So all the defenders units gain the following action. Free action, console action. Call for backup, add a black die to the reinforcements pool, which we'll see what that means in a second. Suppression webs. Choose an enemy unit and roll 3 black attack dice. The chosen unit gains 1 suppression token for each critical or hit result rolled, which obviously suppression in this mode isn't like reducing a unit's actions or panicking them. It straight up makes them roll either less attack makes them roll less attack dice while they're suppressed, and if they panic, they roll black attack dice and suffer wounds potentially. So that's actually pretty good. Encrypt, roll 1 black attack die. If the unit making this action is a support unit, you may roll 1 additional die. If any of the results rolled match a covered slot on the transmitter card, you may remove 1 victory token from that slot, which is very powerful. Delays the defenders from scoring. And of course, reinforcements. At the start of each instep, roll all dice in the reinforcements pool, if any. Deploy 1 unit not deployed at the start of your game in the deployment zone. Then for each critical and surge result rolled, deploy an additional unit, or remove 1 suppression token from a friendly unit. At the start of the 4th round, if there are still units that have not been deployed, deploy those units. And that's all the rules to this one. It's got a lot of rules, but basically, get to the transmitters in the middle. So if you're attacker, get to the transmitter and the consoles to score victory points. If you're defenders, just try to stop them and kill them. And there's different ways you can do that. Off the top of my head, the attackers what?
I was saying just standard Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely very Star Wars. That is for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely think that is very true. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like for this objective, I think ARC Troopers are pretty good. Offensively, they can move up, take attack actions to gain dodge tokens, and then the console's a free action, so they can shoot and dodge, generate 2 dodge tokens. They have their free surge token. So they're killing defending units that are trying to kill them while gaining tokens not to die. And they have clone troopers, so they can share those dodges. And with the loadout card, you can change both your core units to supports. So they are really good because they can get those rerolls. Now on defense, they're not feeling as hot. They get their commander and their 2 core and their sniper, but not their jetpacks. And if you take the card where you turn your core into supports, then you don't get your cores. You're only getting your commander and your sniper. The flip side, though, is you take the loadout card that is basically the pseudo opposite of. It gives all your guys covert deploy, but you pass the option of making your core support. So you're not really getting that much cool stuff with encrypt for the console actions. But but you are getting your entire force deployed by the end of round 1 guaranteed, because that's what covert deploy basically does. So I think ARC Troopers are really good for this, because offensively they do a lot of damage. So if I'm having to like take console actions while they shoot me, I'm not feeling great. And if I'm having to kill them while they're doing console actions, I'm not feeling great either. Another squad that's
not feeling good against SCOD in general.
Yeah, I think ARC Troopers are good in general, but especially for this objective. Then there's, I think Imperial Infantry, not Imperial Infantry Squad, though they do seem kind of interesting. I think their standby tactics could be good here, potentially. I do think Imperial Special Forces Squad is good, because they have the same covert deploy thing with their Imperial Special Forces, so they can get pretty much all their stuff in by the end of round 1. And they're not really missing out on anything, because their Scout Troopers aren't going to have range to shoot anything. So the Scout Troopers probably just run up to the objective and do suppression webs for a turn. Next turn, move up, start shooting. And that second turn, everything has deployed, so you just basically begin by shooting everything, which seems pretty good. The other one that could be good is Clone Infantry. On offense, I think Imperial Special Forces is okay. They are Scout Troopers, so they kind of seem fragile a little bit, and they don't get really the benefit of all their offensive tech, because they're going to be doing console actions a lot. Republic Infantry Squad seems pretty good, I think, offensively, because you can deploy all your stuff and then move up slowly to the consoles and just hold your ground, and that's what clones love to do. I think defensively they are going to be okay, but not as good, because they don't get their medic and their Astra mech droid deployed with them. And also because their dodge tech doesn't come in handy. They're going to be doing a lot of aim out token stuff, though, with the Clone Commander still, but I don't think the Clone Commander is going to be giving out any dodges, because it's not going to be as necessary. However, I do think with the Z6 Trooper you can equip backpack power supply, because there's going to be a very target-rich environment, and he's probably not getting shot too often. But, well, I guess because the console action's a free action... Okay, never mind. Clone Infantry Squad on defense has some disadvantages, because they don't get their entire list deployed with them. Yeah, and I think Rebel Infantry Squad's probably good on attack, because they have such good defensive tech. Rebel Commandos, I'm not sure on. They seem kind of okay one or the other way, but they don't really seem to specialize that well at either for this objective. And then I think Separatist Infantry Squad's interesting, because they just have so many bodies that they could probably get all the victory. They probably get all 3 victory points like round 2, but they're dying really fast because they're really cheap. Defensively, though, they'll have Suppressive 1, so they can actually do some decent damage, making enemies panic multiple times, having them roll several black dice after they panic. So, yeah. I don't know about...
got not much for input.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I don't know about Separatist Special Forces. I don't see them having any tricks for this, because they don't have any support units. So, they don't really have any doings that are special in that regard, and none of their units seem like that they really want to do this objective, but who knows. So yeah, I think ARC Troopers, Imperial Special Forces, Republic Infantry Squad seems interesting, just because they have the medic and the Astra mech, and they're both support units, so they can both do some pretty cool stuff. And then Rebel Infantry Squad seems pretty good on attack, not so great on defense. Probably not great at all on defense. And Imperial Infantry Squad. On defense, standby token could be really useful. Offense, I'm not sure if they have anything. I mean, Death Troopers would be good, because they can move, aim, shoot. Yeah, I don't know. I think, like, the only thing that I know for sure is that ARCs and Imperial Special Forces seem pretty good for this, and Clone Infantry Squad, but everything else kind of just seems even.
So those 3 should be eliminated immediately, because that's not
cannot select these squads. I mean, we'll see what the other objectives are. There's always some objectives that favor some units, than others. Like, if you're playing 3 speeders in normal Legion, you're gonna love Breakthrough. But if you're not playing 3 speeders, Breakthrough is 50-50. So, yeah, it's the same as Standard Legion. These are obviously preset squads, though, so it's a little bit more interesting. Anyways, the next mission... Oh, what?
All right. No, it's fine. You wanted to ignore me, so...
Oh, I didn't want to. I think I talked over you, and Discord mutes you while I'm talking.
No, I know. I kind of cut myself off anyway.
Alright, yeah, no worries. Alright, anyways, the next mission is somewhat similar. It's transmit the codes. So a crack squad has stolen the codes to the vault and is attempting to get them back to... I can't see that underneath the... To command. They must make it to a transmitter with the codes, but they have set up clever decoys. The defending team must find the correct codes and prevent their transmission. So the setup for this one is you place 3 transmitters with the claim sides face up as shown. The red player is the crack squad and the blue player is the defender. When deploying, after they deploy their first unit, the defender must alternate deploying the rest of their units between their 2 deployment zones, starting with either zone. So basically, half your squad is in one place and the other half of your squad's in another place, which I think is cool. It definitely balances the game so that like the crack squad can't just go to one area where none of your guys are. It makes the game interesting, although it does force you to split up your list, so I can automatically see clones struggling with that. Winning the game, if the unit leader with the codes is in base contact with any transmitter with the claim side face up at the start of the end phase, it may reveal the code token. The crack team wins the game. At the end of the 4th round, the defender wins the game. So, well, it's going to be a very common thing. All these objectives, I'm pretty sure, end at round 4. With the exception of the last one, if there's like a tie at round 4, then that objective goes on for another couple rounds. Alright, anyways, scenario rules. Under pressure, units that panic do not drop condition tokens. When a unit holding a condition token panics, the defender may look at the hidden side of that token instead. Support units. When a support unit in the crack squad with a condition token makes a dash action, it may make a speed 2 move instead. While a support unit in the defending squad is in base contact with a transmitter, flip that transmitter to the unclaimed side. And I don't think there's a way to flip back up transmitters, so that means that your support units can essentially eliminate transmitters. I'm pretty sure, but we'll see in a second. The codes. After deploying, assign 3 unit leaders the 1, 2, and 3 condition tokens. Keep the condition tokens face down so that no bibs are showing. These are treated as claimed objective tokens. A player may look at any of their condition tokens at any time. The 1 token is the codes, and 2, 3 are decoys. When a unit drops a condition token, do not flip it over. If a unit would drop a condition token before it is removed, another friendly unit at 3 inches may claim that token instead. A unit may never have more than 1 condition token at a time. So then secure the package, free action, claim a condition token as if it was an unclaimed objective token, I guess in case a unit dies and there's no one at 3 inches. Objective action, free action. A unit leader with a condition token may choose 1 or more unit leaders at 3 inches of itself. Remove all condition tokens from this unit in each chosen unit. You may then assign each of those condition tokens to each unit leader. So you get to play hot potato, basically, for free, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I love hot potato.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, to be honest. It kind of feels cheesy. It kind of feels cheesy, like taking your 1 health character that's about to drop the codes and then just putting it on a full health character. But I guess at the same time, that's probably the guy that's carrying the codes. So you can just focus on that new character, basically. And then focus on the mission. Units in the crack squad gain disengage, which is huge. So that means, like, you can't move... A defender can't move like a stormtrooper to block, like, a rebel commando from moving. The rebel commando just move right through them. That's huge. And then defending squad has 1 action added to their action economy, which is halt. Regular action, this takes 1 of your actions. Choose an enemy unit at 3 inches with a condition token. You may look at the condition token. So that can be pretty powerful depending on what your squad is. So there doesn't seem to be a way to flip back up transmitters once a support unit in a defending squad flips it face down. I mean, judging by distances, that defending squad has a 9-inch box that's around, and they're probably 24 inches away from the closest of transmitters. So I feel like they're probably gonna get to the They're probably going to get to the center transmitter, probably by like round 2 or 3 maybe. So really, if you're playing against a defending squad that has 2 support units, you're losing both of the transmitters that are nearest to the deployment zones. But then that third transmitter, you're probably going to get to around 2 or 3 to deliver the codes. And I think it's mainly just like a full sprint, basically. Yeah, I don't really see an easy way to win this if you're defenders, unless you have 2 support units, because then you can just shut down all the transmitters by turn 2, if they're not already there. Yeah, so unless you have 2 supports, pretty difficult as defender. If you have 2 supports, though, then as attacker, you have to just do a lot of moves, and you don't shoot anything, you just move. I think defense-wise, ARC Troopers are going to be excellent because they can turn both their core into support, so they take out 2 transmitters, and they can actually do a lot of damage, so they can probably actually kill quite a few units during that round 2 while they're rushing to the token. And then on offense, I think the ARC Troopers are still good because they have 2 support units, so those 2 support units could be decoys, and they can rush quite fast. And they also have 2 jetpack units that have speed 3, so you have 4 units that can hold the codes and move really fast. Yeah, so I think ARC Troopers are good here again. Imperial Special Forces are...
We gotta understand that ARC Troopers is great in almost any situation.
Almost any. We still got 2 objectives to go through, so they could drop off here.
True.
They could drop off.
The next one is just ARC Troopers. No, ARC Troopers get a debuff. They roll 1 white die, each of them.
Roll one attack die. Wow, okay, they would be a terrible unit. I mean, obviously, ARC Troopers only have 6 activations, so you can out-activate them, which could totally defeat their purpose. Anyways.
And guns also have the range debuff of 1/2 inch, and they also get reduced to half health.
Maybe. Anyways, so I think Rebel Commando Squad, very thematic of their attacking team. Not sure if they're going to be the best at it. Obviously, they have some pretty good defensive tech. Yeah, I don't know if Rebel Commando Squad's going to do that well. They do have a Wookiee, which is really nice. Defense-wise, I don't think they're doing that well either. Again, they're a solid list, it's just they don't really have anything special that helps them out. They do have the Rebel Commando who can flip over the tokens, but they only have that 1 support, so... Rebel Infantry Squad I think is actually really good. Again, defensive tech, so on offense, they can just totally rush to the token and take it over. And then you have the flip with the... on defense, Rebel Infantry Squad I think is probably actually bad. Because offensively, they're not really going to do a whole lot, and they only have the 1 support, which is an Astra mech. So if your opponent really wants to, they can probably one-shot the Astra mech before it maybe even gets to flip over a token. It probably will be able to flip over 1 token, but it won't be able to flip over all of them. So I think Rebel Infantry Squad, good on offense, bad on defense. Imperial Infantry Squad, good on defense, standby action economy. Especially for this deployment, where like the list has to come to you, and you can set up for that. I think Imperial Infantry Squad's gonna be great for this, because you have Death Troopers that can flush out the people that aren't moving, and everything else just standbys and has that range to move or shoot. Yeah, I think Imperial Infantry Squad's looking pretty good defensively. Offensively, they're not looking terrible. Death Troopers can move, can like I said, I mean. Death Troopers are pretty survivable, so if they have like the codes, they can move pretty far. Medical Droid can heal them. And Stormtroopers could just...
also aggressively beep at the opponent.
Yeah, aggressively beep. Probably not effectively, but it can. I think it's mainly just going to be there for the heal. Because I'm just keeping my Death Troopers alive, basically. They have the most health, they have automatic cover 1, so an automatic surge. And my Medical Droid's healing the one that's taking damage, so I think that's really good. Imperial Officer can obviously order Stormtroopers to do extra move actions, so once one of the Death Troopers dies, Stormtrooper grabs the objective, Imperial Officer just orders that guys to run. So I think actually Imperial Infantry Squad's looking pretty good on both these. I don't know what Imperial Special Forces is looking like, because, yeah, I'm not sure to be honest, because The question is, can you use the covert deploy and put the condition tokens on those units? Because how I'm reading the rules with the codes is, after deploying, assign 3 unit leaders the 1, 2, 3 and condition tokens. Keep these condition tokens face down so that no pips are showing. So it seems like you can just covert deploy right next to the objective, and those 3 units that you covert deploy just have the tokens on them. The disadvantage, I guess, is that if like they die, then the token's way out there, but I don't really think it's a disadvantage, to be honest. So I don't know. I guess if that may be FAQ'd in the rules or something, or I might be understanding it differently. But anyways, on offense, either Imperial Special Forces are overpowered or fine. I don't really think they're that great for this. They have 3 units that can survive. Everything else is pretty fragile. And then defensively, they just have a range disadvantage. The ARC Troopers overcome that because they have either really high speed, or once they finally get to that range, they're going to put a lot of hate on you. Imperial Special Forces can as well. In fact, they actually have a sniper as well, but I feel like they're still struggling in that department of just killing stuff. So, and they only have 1 support unit, and that's also super fragile. Yeah, and then Republic Infantry Squad looks really, I don't know. Okay, defensively, they don't spawn together, which sucks. However, they do have 2 supports, so they can take out 2 objectives. And then they can just kind of like get all their guys together at the center objective and hold that, which is what clones love to do. The question is like moving and shooting and action economy. They're not going to be generating the tokens they want. They're not going to be doing the heal they want. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like on defense, the clones have some pretty cool tech, but they also are just generally at a disadvantage. Offensively, I think they're actually really good, because there's that one loadout card which replaces their Clone Trooper subtype, where they can't share tokens anymore with the, after you make an attack, do a dash. I think that's actually really good here, because they can move, shoot, and then another clone dashes. And then they do the same thing, basically. And pretty much, they kill units while piggybacking towards the objective, which most other squads are not going to be able to do. So I think offensively, they're actually pretty decent. They have a lot of... And they're also deploying together. So even if you don't want to do the dash thing, you're getting your token and your healing economy, which is what you really want. So either way, clones offensively on this objective look really strong. Separatists, infantry squad, 10 activations, so defensively can...
Watch your words carefully, Michael.
What?
I was like, watch your words carefully.
Yeah, well, yeah, very true. So I think actually Separatist Infantry Squad's looking okay on this one. Like I said, offensively, they have enough bodies just to overwhelm the point and eventually get their B1s there. Especially since that it's just a free action to pick up the codes, or once someone with the codes dies, you just give it to another B1. You have 10 models to hack through. Even though they're 4 health each, that's going to be a lot of shots. The only squads that are one-shotting B1s are Imperial Special Forces and ARC Troopers. Everything else is going to need to like 1 to 2 shot them, and Rebels aren't going to be able to one-shot them. They don't have enough dice in their pools.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, so Infantry Squad on offense looking pretty okay. Just overwhelm the objective and try to get to there. Defensively, not sure. I think they're still good because they do have a standby tactic that they can use with one of the loadout cards. And then they can also use the suppressive one to just overshoot stuff. And they also have 10 activations. So like end of round 1, you're getting like 10 shots. Round 2, you're getting 10 shots. And with the suppressive 1, that could be enough to kill enough units to where the attacker just can't get to the point. Though somewhat doubtful. I don't think they're as hot defensively as they are offensively. Offensively, they're pretty okay. I'm not sure about the droid commandos squad. Again, no support units, which really does hurt them. So defensively, I don't think they have a strategy defensively. Offensively, they kind of work. They have Magna Guards, which are really beefy. And they have the shield guys, which are also really beefy. So they have 4 units that can probably make it to the objective on their own. And when you add like the extra 5 health units, they probably can. But again, no special punches that they're pulling, so we'll see.
We shall see indeed.
Yeah, so I don't know. So far, the Separatist Special Forces are kind of meh, but not terrible. It's just like they're a good squad. They're well, not a good squad. They're a solid squad, but they just don't have anything special for any of these objectives. Alright, so the next one, the third objective, is Disabled Vehicle. And this is the special one that AMG is really excited about. They got a whole bunch of people to like make destroyed-looking vehicles, like a TX-130, an LAT gunship, an AAT. Because the theming of this mission is obviously like the attacking squad had ambushed this vehicle, disabled it, and now they're trying to finish it off while the defenders defend it. This is the one AMG was super excited about. And this is the only one I think they actually changed errata-wise. From going from beta to actual alpha release, though I probably am wrong on that. Anyways, deployment. The blued player is the defender. Place the immobilized vehicle for the corresponding faction at the center of the battlefield on the unclaimed objective token. Place 4 ambush networks on the battlefield claimed side face up, which are the other objective tokens. The defender deploys all of their units in base contact with their immobilized vehicle. The red player is the ambusher. When deploying units, the red player may choose to deploy them in their deployment zone or begin the game in the ambush network. Winning the game. If the immobilized vehicle is destroyed by the ambushing player, wins the game. If the vehicle is destroyed, the ambushing player wins the game. At the end of round 4, the defender wins the game. So defend the vehicle, basically. And each faction has a separate vehicle that we will look at after we go through all the rules. Scenario rules. Ambush network. A unit in the ambush network is not on the battlefield and may never be measured to or from. A unit in the ambush network may be issued orders. At the start of a unit's activation, if it is in the ambush network, it is placed in base contact with an ambush point and it gains 1 detonator. A unit placed in this way cannot make a move action during its activation, but may dash. Alright, so ambushing squad, they have an action ambush point. Remove this unit from the battlefield and place it in the ambush network. A unit may not perform this action during the same activation that it entered the battlefield. You can do that anywhere on the battlefield, it sounds like. So you could be like right next to the vehicle, almost be dead, and then just take your guy. Which seems kind of cheesy. Yeah. Alright, detonator, which is an action. Set aside victory tokens to use as detonator tokens. A unit may only use use this action if it has a detonator. A unit may not have more than 1 detonator at a time, and obviously you gain detonators by being in an ambush network. A unit may throw its detonator at the immobilized vehicle if it is in line of sight. Measure the distance from the unit to the immobilized vehicle. The unit rolls 10 white attack dice, removing 1 die from the roll for each full inch the unit leader is away from the immobilized vehicle. If the immobilized vehicle suffers, then the immobilized vehicle suffers 1 damage for each critical hit and surge result in the roll. A unit cannot make a detonator action if it has already made an attack action this activation, and cannot make an attack action if it has already made a detonator action this activation. So basically, you can't come from the network with a detonator. Yeah, I don't know. It's basically just don't do any of those special actions at the same time. Anyways, support units have special abilities in the ambushing squad. So while a friendly unit is at 3 inches of another support unit, it gains the following action. Rearm. This unit gains 1 detonator. So if you have, for example, the medical droid in the Imperial infantry squad, and you're on the attacking side, stormtroopers can take an action and gain a detonator off the medical droid, which is pretty cool. Again, more uses for support. And then defending squad, their defensive positions, units in base contact with the immobilized vehicle have heavy cover. I don't think I'm ever shooting a guy that's going to be next to the vehicle anyways, because the vehicle is the main target, and I'm going to be fishing for crits. But that's cool. And then support units, while in base contact with the immobilized vehicle, support units in the defending squad gain the following action. Repair vehicle. Action. Remove 1 wound from the immobilized vehicle. So support units gain extra usability. Again, really good for any type of medic that you have, because they can heal other units if they need it, and then heal the vehicle. Obviously, cover in this game only improves surge die results, so like if there's an astromech next to the vehicle, I'm probably just going to waste 1 shot to take it out so it doesn't heal anything off the vehicle. But otherwise, I'm shooting the vehicle as much as possible because they're beefy, actually. They have quite a bit of health. So I guess now we'll take a look at the vehicles before we talk about what squads might be good or bad. And that's just kind of like mixed in with the other cards from the other squads. So first we'll look at the Rubble vehicle, which is in all probability the A5 speeder truck, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, immobilized vehicle. So its first ability is Field Triage. At the start of this unit's activation, choose any number of other friendly units at 6 inches. Remove up to 3 total wounds from the chosen units. So 1 wound from each. 1 wound from 3. Or hang on, remove up to 3 total wounds from the chosen units. Yeah, so 3. So remove 1 wound from 3 units, or remove 3 wounds from 1 unit. Kind of cool. Like I said, I'm not probably shooting anything other than the Astra mech. The Astra mech's dying in 1 shot, so take that as you will. Heavy armor, front sides. Weapons without the impact keyword may not be added to the attack pools targeting this unit if the attacking unit is in this unit's front or side arc. So if you don't have impact in your pool, you can't shoot it unless you're in the rear arc. Stationary, this unit cannot perform moves. Last stand, this unit cannot be issued orders. So it can only pivot around. And it has 2 different weapons. Cruise small arms, 10 inches. 2 reds and 2 blacks, critical 2, fixed sides and rear. Weapon battery, which is 18 inches, so the full range 3. Critical 3, fixed front with 6 reds. Very nice. And this vehicle has 15 health and 0 resilience. So essentially, if you roll a crit, you're doing a damage because this thing has 0 defense dice. But because of that heavy armor ability, you do need to have impact in your pool in order to attack it, which is actually pretty good. This means that obviously the Rebel Commandos are going to be good at this objective because all these abilities are the same for each vehicle except for like the main ability. So the Imperial one won't have Field Tirage, it'll have something else, which we'll see in a second. I should just scroll down to it now. I don't really think I have any thoughts. Do you have any thoughts right now?
No, my mind's pretty blank.
All right. I mean,
all
yeah.
I know is vehicle's scary.
Vehicle's scary, but this one can't move, so. Anyways, so the Imperial vehicle is exactly the same as the Rebel one. The only difference is it doesn't have Field Tirage and instead has combined arms. At the start of the activation phase, choose up to 1 friendly unit at 6 inches. It gains a standby token. Very strong, especially with Stormtroopers that love standbys. Then we'll look at the Republic one. Pretty sure the Republic one's next. Yeah, okay. Ability that's different here. Rally Point. At the start of this unit's activation, choose any number of friendly units at 6 inches. Remove it to 3 total suppression tokens from the chosen units. So the same as the Field Tirage for the Rebels, but instead of removing wounds, remove suppression. I mean, I'm only killing the Republic Astromech and maybe the Medic, so this actually might be useful because the Medic actually has quite a bit of health. Next up, we have the Separatist one, which I think is actually the best one ability-wise. It has Command Node. During the command phase, this unit may issue an order to a friendly core unit at 6 inches. I think that's the best out of the 3. The Imperial one's pretty good though with standby. But yeah, I think that's probably the best one. Something actually useful that it gives your squad.
All the rest of them suck.
No, the rest of them are good. I think the Imperial one's actually really good. But I think the Rebel and Republic ones aren't as good because even though it's really nice for those factions to have those, let me tell you, they aren't super necessary. Because this objective is about defending a vehicle, so healing units that aren't going to be attacked kind of seems pointless to me. I mean, they might be attacked, but honestly, I feel like they're just wasting their actions at that point, and you should be glad that they're not shooting your vehicle. Anyways, Rebel Special Forces, I think, are going to be good, excellent on attacking, because if you take the melee or the bowcaster Wookiee, both of those units have impact, so they can just start shooting it right away and get some crits on it, do some consistent damage. Melee Wook actually has impact 2, critical 2, pierce 1. It would take a while, but if the melee Wook can get to the tank, it can do a lot of damage. You also have defensive tech, and the Rebel Saboteur has the command card where it gets the impact 3, critical 3, 6 red die weapon, so it's really good against the vehicle. Additionally, the Rebel Commando is also the unit that the other guys are getting their detonators back from. So I can see the Rebel Commando being killed before he even gets close enough to use the command card, just because he's also an objective target for the defenders. Yeah, defense-wise, melee looks good. The sniper would be good. But that's about it, to be honest. I don't see any of the other units being good defensively. Rebel Infantry Squad, offensively, again, great, because they have the defensive tech. And the Astra mech is pulling a lot of weight, too. Defensively, they have some options, but not many great options. I just don't think they have enough dice in their offense pool to really kill anything meaningful. Well, to really kill enemy squads in a meaningful amount. They can kill something, it's just they can't kill a whole lot of things. I think Imperial Infantry Squad, of course, great on defense. They have the standby tech. Death Troopers can go and flesh stuff out. I think they're S tier, to be honest, because the medical droid's going to be healing the vehicle. Everything else just shoots. Offensively, I actually think they're good. Death Troopers are pretty tanky to take out, and can kind of hide, and the Stormtroopers kind of hide behind them. And the officer can also order a Stormtrooper to do a move. So, and you also have the medical droid. So you have a pretty tanky squad, and you're going to get a couple units to the tank to throw detonators. And you also have the DLT-19 Stormtrooper who has Impact 1, so he can whittle away at the vehicle too. So I think actually Imperial Infantry Squad are looking really hot for this objective offensively, and really good defensively. I think this is their objective, to be honest. Imperial Special Forces defensively are looking great too. The ambush is really good because they can stack suppression tokens, and they also have the Scout Troopers that roll lots of dice. You have a sniper, you have the Special Forces that can shoot some stuff, and your support unit can heal the ATST, or it can go out and basically flip over someone's activation token so they can't activate. Offensively, again, I think they're struggling just on the whole moving up to the tank, just because, Scout Troopers are fragile. They're still okay, though. I could see them taking out the tank, but it's probably a lot more work for them than defensively holding the tank. Republic, ARC Troopers offensively, I think are great because they're really fast with the jetpacks. The jetpack 2s are definitely coming in to deliver some bombs, probably like round 1 or 2. And everything else can take its time. You have 2 units that you can get bomb refills off of. And that can also refill bombs off of each other and will. And everything's super survivable, so they're getting in and they're doing a lot of damage. Probably winning the game. Offensively. Defensively, I think they're crap. They can kill stuff, but they only have 6 activations to shoot stuff. So if you keep all your guys behind line of sight, the 2 core unit ARC Troopers and the captain probably aren't going to get shots. The jetpack guys still will, because they have speed 3 with bound. And so will the sniper. But if you play right, they're not going to be able to shoot enough of your stuff, and you're going to be able to get most of your stuff in to throw those detonators. So I think defensively, they're actually looking pretty bad, especially since that most of their tech isn't around defending something, it's around keeping themselves alive. So I think they're actually struggling defensively here. This is probably not the objective I want if I'm ARC Troopers, just because I guess it comes down 50-50 if you turn out defender or attacker. Yeah. And then Republic, I keep mixing them up. Republic Infantry Squad's looking really hot defensively because they all get to spawn next to each other. Z6 Rotary Pack's looking great because people are going to have to come to you, so you shoot them twice. Republic Commander's looking great because he doesn't have to do the whole dodge shenanigans. He can just give out some aims and then shoot. The medic can also shoot and then heal the vehicle. The Astra mech can heal the vehicle, and that's all it can do. But they're looking really good. They also look pretty good offensively because they just kind of ball up with all the dodge tokens and heals that the medic gives, meaning that they can get to the tank and throw some detonators at it, probably like 3 or 4 easily. And then Separatist Infantry Squad, again, offensively, they just overwhelm the tank, so they're probably going to get it. Defensively, they have the Suppressive 1. they could probably defend it. This is actually probably the situation where I probably take out some models if I'm attacking, because I can and because I should.
Why would you take them away? Because I can.
Exactly. They're 4 health each, so they're kind of easy to one-shot, or 2-shot if you're playing Rebels. But there's benefits to it. You don't get shot as much. A dash isn't really that far, so move, shoot, move, shoot. Third turn, you throw 3 or 4 detonators at the vehicle. Depending on the squad you have, that can be really good. I think if I'm playing anything that's not Rebels, I'm doing that. If I'm playing Rebels, I'm just moving and dashing because they can't. They need to shoot a B1 twice in order to kill it. So yeah. So defensively for B1s, kind of rough. Could still work. Offensively, they overwhelm the objective, so 50-50. But most likely you're going to get it. And then the Separatist Special Forces. Defensively, I think they're actually pretty good. Magnet Guards can mess some people up. The Sword Dudes can definitely mess some people up. There's no, like, disengage for the attacking squad, so you actually have, like, 4 units that can tie people up in melee and come out on top, which is really good. And then your other 3 units can just kind of, like, team up on 1 unit to take it out. So I think it's actually really good defensively. I think Special Forces for Separatists are looking really hot on this objective defensively. Offensively, maybe. Magnet Guards are beefy. So are the Shield Dudes. But you don't have any supports to refill detonators. So once you go in, that's going to be your one run. So if you roll just blanks on all the white dice, then you feel really bad. But yeah, what do you think about this objective, the disabled vehicle mission?
So I like the vehicle, only if it's mine.
There you go.
If it's anybody else's, I don't like it.
Right.
I only like any mission if I have the advantage. And in this case, I only get the advantage if I have the vehicle.
I
Or a bunch
mean,
of impact weaponry.
attacking the vehicle is not that difficult, like I said. Like, if you have impact 1, then that's a guaranteed damage to it. And if you roll a second crit during that attack, that's 2 guaranteed damage.
Yeah, that's why I said, or if I have a bunch of impact weapons.
Yeah, I mean, at max, you're probably looking at 1 impact weapon if you're Rebel Commandos, 1 impact weapon if you're Imperial Infantry Squad, and no other squads have impact. But, I mean, Detonator seems to roll a lot of damage, and you can probably get there pretty quickly with most squads. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun. It's definitely thematic. It's the one objective where ARC Troopers aren't just all supreme. So automatically a plus in my book, I think. Yeah, I feel like you're feeling really bad if you're playing defensively as ARC Troopers. Like, you can do a lot of damage. It's just I don't think you're going to be able to do enough. Yeah. Anyways, the last objective is shifting priorities. This is probably the best mission to play if you're just looking for a mission that's even to both sides. This is the mission we'll probably use when ranking on the list, tier list wise. And the other missions will come into effect, but I think it's primarily going to be this one. This is definitely the one that feels like competitive Legion. And yeah, it's really fun. Anyways, so special rules. Place 4 objective tokens, unclaimed side, face up on the battlefield as shown. There's actually only 3 on the battlefield, and there's only supposed to be 3. I think 4 is a typo. At the start of each command phase and each subsequent command phase, the blue player rolls a black attack die. If the result is a critical result, the rightmost objective is priority objective this round. If the result is a surge result, the leftmost objective is the priority objective this round. If the result is a hit result, the center objective is the priority objective this round. And that's obviously looking from the blue side of the board. That way the same objective isn't the one the whole time. And then, let's see. During the end phase of each round, each player scores 1 VP point for each objective token they control, and 1 additional VP if they control the priority objective. The player with the most unit leaders at 3 inch of an objective token controls that objective token. When determining which player controls an objective token, count each support unit as 2 units. Winning the game, basically all this text says that the player... one player wins when that player has 7 victory points. If at the end of round 4 both players are tied victory point wise, then they play a 5th round to decide who wins. So this is like a 4-round game usually, but it can be 5 rounds. I think ours is actually 6 because we tied twice. And yeah, this was the one objective we played so far, and I think it's personally the best because it is the most even and because it feels the most like normal competitive Legion. This is basically key positions. with a little bit of intercept added in. But yeah, I think it's cool. I think objective-wise, obviously ARC troopers are great. But yeah, I feel like every squad's honestly evenly matched because they all have their advantages and disadvantages. I mean, Rebel Infantry, Republic Infantry, and obviously Republic Special Forces are feeling really great because in general those are the best squads. And this is definitely an objective where a squad that's good at attrition or staying alive or controlling objectives, staying alive, and attrition is going to do the best. So, yeah, what do you think of it?
The perfect words ain't coming to mind.
No worries. This is definitely the most chill one in terms of, like, what's all this stuff going on? It's just very chill. It's just like, nah, man, just control the token or shoot some dudes. And like I said, it's the most competitively Legion in that case. The other objectives are really fun, but they definitely feel more like it's like special events, basically, where like I would arrange with someone what the objective is prior, and we'd like build our lists prior, and then play the game. They don't really feel like a competitive tournament setting objectives. Yeah, I mean, obviously this mode's not competitive. It's casual. It's quite the opposite. But still, this objective is pretty cool.
Like so.
Yep. All right, so I guess
I'm really trying to think of the perfect words to say, but none of them is coming to mind.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Has been
So that
limited by my brain power recently.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. So I think that's pretty much all we've already covered all the lists in the first two podcasts about the Special Strike Force, whatever it's called. We just covered the objectives. So now I guess it's just on to the tier list of which squads are the best that we think. We have S, A, B, C, and D. I don't really think we need D tier. I don't think any of these squads are in that tier, but if there are, there are. There's definitely no F tier, though. I don't think anything here is, like, bad to the point where you just can't use it. I think there's some good stuff in each squad that is pretty good at using. So anyways, we'll start with ARC Troopers. ARC Troopers obviously going to go in the S tier. They obviously are really good on offense or defense. So they're obviously good at 3 out of the 4 objectives. And on that 4th objective, they're only bad on defense. On offense, they're actually really strong. So essentially, the vehicle mission, don't be defender, or hope you're not defender anyways. Otherwise, you're being chillin'. And even as defender for that mission, you still do a lot of damage per shot. It's just you don't have that many shots. So if, like, you know, you're going against B1s, almost all your shots need to be one-shotting a B1 in order to win. Yeah, so I think ARC Troopers are the pinnacle good unit. They have Clone Trooper subtypes, so they share tokens. They all have reliable ones. They all get a search token. Every time they attack, they get a dodge token. They're really strong. Yeah, so S tier, easily.
All right, next one we got what looks to be on my screen's like a wee bit blurry, but it looks like that's Rebel Commando.
Yeah, Rebel Commando. These dudes are Rebel Commando. Each of these little thumbnails is the unit leader. So anyways, Rebel Commando. This is kind of difficult because obviously they don't really have a whole lot of tech in terms of each mission. They have a support rank, which is nice, but that support rank is about as survivable as a regular core unit in their list, which is actually pretty survivable. 6 health, low profile, so canceling a hit when it defends if it has cover. Just that basically. So slightly good, more survivability than a Scout Trooper, but not much. And if you're going to destroy a vehicle, pretty good squad. Thematically, they're really they should be attacking squad for pretty much any objective. Because thematically, they're the guys bringing down the shield. They're the guys cracking the codes, you know. Yeah. And like I said, they have the low profile, so that kind of helps them out. Offensively, though, they don't really put out that much damage. However, their range is 14 inches, which is 2 inches more than the average range of 12 of pretty much all the other squads. So the only thing they're really failing at range 2 is snipers and special one-off 16-inch units. So I think they're actually A tier because they're really solid. They have some great loadout cards. They're solid units. They just aren't, like, exceptionally amazing. So I think they're just like a flat A.
a flat A, which is the equivalent to a C minus.
If only, right? Yeah, I guess we'll just do all the special forces first, and then we'll go through all the infantry. So it seems to be what's happening, anyways. Anyways, Imperial special forces. So originally, I thought these guys were kind of an A or a B because scout troopers play very differently to the Imperial special forces, and that's like half your list playing differently to the other half of your list. And then your support piece wants to get in close, but is super fragile, and your sniper piece isn't the best sniper in the game, but he's still good. However, upon looking at the objectives and seeing what they are, defensively, they're actually pretty good. They can hold their own. They're probably one of the scariest squads. I feel like if I'm going up against these guys on the two objectives where you have to like go to tokens and stuff, I'm kind of feeling pretty scared because those scout troopers roll out of dice and everything has ambush 1. So after one of my dudes activates, that guy's basically dead because they just give him so many suppression tokens.
Heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. And every objective is defensive. The main like objective where it's just neutral, there's key positions basically. They're not bad either because the scout troopers will be able to use line of sight blocking terrain to get in close and do some damage. Same with the droid. The sniper's not bad, and the Imperial special forces are obviously really good. So it's not a bad squad overall. It's actually pretty good. I feel like just because there's certain situations where they're expert at objectives, but they're still generally like good, but half their list wants to do one thing, the other half wants to do another thing. And their loadout cards are very much like your entire list should do this one thing, even though not all the units want to do that. I feel like they're also A tier. I feel like I feel like they're above the Rebel squad just because, like I said, they have. I feel like they're above the Rebel special forces because they are superb on the defense objectives compared to the Rebels. Even though on that main key position objective where the Rebels would actually be pretty solid and pretty good, these guys not so good. So I still think they're flat A, but I think they're slightly better than the Rebel squad, I think, because they have just more interesting tech that you can use that makes them more exceptional at some objectives. All right, and then you have the Separatist Special Forces. So
Tier 100%. Actually, no, they go above S. They go to A umlaut because German's better than English. So
double S tier. I mean, maybe in one world, the Magna Guards are really good. The issue is though, is that like after the Magna Guards, everything else is good, but good in different ways. So they kind of suffer from the Imperial Special Forces problem, which is where half their list wants to do one thing, the other half wants to do another thing. And the Rebel Commandos problem, where everything's solid but nothing's superb. Only in this list, they don't have any tech whatsoever at any of the objectives, except for the defending the vehicle, because they have melee units. So they can tie people up in melee, which is about it. They don't have any support, so they can't take advantage of that. Their sniper's okay. Not the worst sniper in the game, but second to worst. Yeah, they're okay. I just don't think they have any special tech for any of the objectives. They really don't. Like, when I look at them, they don't really offer me anything back. They don't offer me a ring or anything special. They're kind of just there, which is cool. They're still super solid units. On the key position objective, they're definitely really good, I think, personally, because, Magna Guards. You got 2 Magna Guards running around, 2 Sword Droids running around, and everything else is survivable. But yeah, even in that situation, I'm still feeling pretty confident just because it's like, okay, those melee units are going to charge me. I'm going to shoot those 2, kill them. My 2 guys are going to get tied up with those 2 other guys. And then I'll kill the commander, leave the 2 shield guys because they're going to be too difficult to kill and just kind of win on points. So yeah, I don't know. They feel good, but they don't feel like that great. So I'm personally thinking B, to be honest, B+.
I agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, you might need to put it up just at least 1 rank higher.
Into A tier. I mean, A tier's like solid units though that like I think I would like to use. This
solid. Do you know how tough their armor is?
their armor 1, which is good, but not like.
Have you felt pure metal? That's pretty solid.
I mean, to be honest, the B1s are made of pure metal, and they're getting one-shotted a lot.
Yeah, well, have you felt skin? It's kind of not solid.
Yeah, I mean, they, like I said, the shield guys do have pretty survivable tactics, but they're only 2 out of the most of the unit. Like I said, just the whole other unit's just so different. Like, the captain wants to do something that's different. The only thing they have in common is Scout 1, and that's it. And that's cool to have, but not super necessary. I think for now I'll put them in A as an A-, because that's kind of basically a B+, but we'll see how full the A tier is and if they need to be bumped down or not.
I'll take it for now.
Alright, next up we have the Rubble Infantry Squad. So these guys I actually like a lot because they have great defensive tactics. Nimble, so once they get a dodge token, they continuously spin it over and over again. They have 6 health per unit, which is really good survivability. The commando droids, by the way, only have 5, so... and then they also have Danger Sense, so they roll extra defense dice equal to the suppression tokens that they have. Their courage is 2, so they can only ever have 2 suppression tokens at once, because once you give them 3, they panic. They roll, they remove that 3rd suppression token, but then they roll black dice for it to take a wound. So they're only going to have 2, so they're basically Danger Sense 2, but that's really good. Even though you don't get surge conversion unless you're behind cover, rolling extra defense dice, even if they're white dice with no surges, is still pretty good. So their defensive tech is great. They defensively survive for a while. There's also a lot of them in the list. I believe there's 5 Rebel Troopers, a Rebel Captain, and 2 Rebel Pathfinders. Oh, that's the wrong document. Actually, we should probably close that file. I don't think we need that. Let me check, actually. All right. 4 Rebel Troopers, a Rebel Captain, a Rebel Trooper with DLT-20, a Sniper, which is just 16 inches, 2 Rebel Pathfinders, and an Astra mech. So this is a 9 activation list where 8 of the things are very survivable. The Pathfinders more so because they get dodges after attacking. No, they remove suppression after attacking from friendly units, which is great. Handle suppression. And they get dodges after moving. So the Pathfinders are even more survivable. They also have 1 extra health and 3 courage, so Danger Sense 3. And then obviously one of the Rebel Troopers has a Sniper. So they're actually a pretty solid squad. Offensively, they're pretty terrible. They only roll like 4 dice each on attack, besides the Sniper, of course. So they're not killing a whole lot, but they're staying alive long enough to see most of the stuff on the enemy team, I feel like, die. So I feel like these guys are A+, because their defensive tech is pretty good. They aren't going to, like, survive forever, but they're definitely going to survive for a while. I don't think they're quite S tier just because they can't survive and kill everything. They can kind of just survive, but that's pretty good. I think they're a solid A+. Top of A tier.
I agree with you there.
All right, next up we have the Imperial Infantry Squad. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Imperial Infantry Squad? Because there's a lot of thoughts around them. Obviously, I have varying thoughts.
Yeah, that. It's not easy.
Because obviously, like, Stormtroopers, they have some cool abilities that some of them don't really trigger at all that well.
Yeah.
But they're red saves with 5 health. Well, no, with 6. Is it 6 health or is it 5 health? Let me double check that, actually, because I'm pretty sure it's 5, but that's just because commando droids are 5.
I feel like it's 6.
I think it is 6. I'm double checking right now. Come on. 6 health per. Okay, yeah, commando droids are. Oh, all right. So Stormtroopers are 6 health each. Red saves. They roll 5 dice when they attack, which is really good for this game mode. Which is really solid. They just don't have any good abilities, and they're courage 1. The Imperial Officer has some cool support abilities. Giving out an aim. She gets an order. She gets out 2 standbys to Stormtroopers. And then she has the silly get them ability where a Stormtrooper doesn't move, and if they're in base contact, they get a melee attack. Still not perfect, though. It's not the best support out of all the other factions. Then you got the Medical Droid, which heals 2 wounds, which is great. Then you got the DLT-19 Stormtrooper, 16 inches, DLT-19, 3 blacks and 2 reds or 3 reds and 2 blacks. I'm not sure what the dice pool is, but it's one of those two. 16 inches, so really long range. Then you got 2 Death Troopers, which are like the best units in the game, I'm pretty sure. Automatic cover 1, so automatic surge conversion. They roll red saves. They have 7 health. They have tactical 1, and they have 2 reds and 3 blacks when they attack with critical 2. So they're really good. So you have like the best units in the squad in the game. 2 really good units, the medical droid and the LT-19, and then you've got a bunch of mid units because they're solid stat-wise. They just don't have anything special that's good.
I'm still incredibly jealous of the point values and all.
Yeah, so I'm not sure honestly because my gut instinct is to put them in A. I mean, if the commander droid's in A, they should go in A as well. I feel like honestly these guys are just like a B plus though. Oh, that's the thing. Is like half their list is really good, and the part that's not good is still pretty decent.
It's just very situational.
I mean, well, it's not situational. Red saves is always good. It's just the fact that their abilities are just kind of like they can sometimes trigger. I mean, defensively, I guess a lot during those objectives. Defensively, they seem pretty good just because they do have that standby tactic. Like, giving an officer an order automatically generates 2 standbys without wasting your actions. That's pretty good defensively. And the Death Troopers can flush stuff out. Okay, so I guess they're A tier. Because they just have, like, some solid tactics defensively. I think I'm putting them below Rebel Commandos, though, because I think Rebel Commandos just have a bit more solidarity, just have a bit more solid feelingness behind them. Though Imperial Infantry Squad's honestly not that bad. It's just like they got a lot of mid stuff and a lot of good stuff. So it's kind of like hard to decide. It's woof.
Indeed.
Yep.
It is very woof.
Yep. Alright, so I think Clone Infantry Squad. I mean, clones are really good. Obviously, there's no Jedi.
Put them in Z tier.
Z. You know, F tier is the bottom tier, right? For tier lists usually.
Yeah,
For this one, it's D.
Z.
Well, so putting feelings past this, I think clones are really good. The clone commander gives out 2 aims and 2 dodges when he does his thing, which is basically what a Jedi character does for like a standard game of Legion. So they're getting all their token sharing. Medic heals 2 wounds, which is great. You got a Z6, which shoots a lot of dice. You don't have any fire support triggers, but you don't really need that, to be honest, because you just get so many more shots instead. The clones are feeling pretty generic. They're 6 health with red saves with 1 courage. So technically worse than Stormtroopers, but they have the Clone Trooper like subtitles, so they actually get to share tokens, which is really, really strong. They have a lot of tokens, so they can ball up pretty easily. Most of the objectives they can ball up and do their thing. With exception to the, was it Crack Codes one if they're on defense? But even there, like, they have 2 supports, so they can do really well. Yeah, overall, like, if I'm taking Clone Infantry Squad, I'm feeling confident on, like, every objective. Like, I have a plan, and I have a strategy, and I have a good amount of activations. I'm actually feeling better taking those over ARC Troopers, because ARC Troopers, they only have 6 guys. So even though they're really good dudes, the best dudes in the game, there's only 6 of them still. So I'm getting out-activated every match I go into, and that may be a problem. That being said, I think Clone Infantry Squad goes into S tier, just because of how good they seem. I think they're equal to ARC Troopers, but I'm just going to put them below ARC Troopers because, you know, ARCs just seem really good.
They just seem real good.
Exactly. All right, next up we have the Separatist Infantry Squad.
Actually, double S.
Double S. Stop being... You gotta look at things objectively, man. Objectively. So, objectively, the Separatist Infantry Squad has a lot of cool tricks. The Tactical Droid has guidance, so free non-attack action to a unit. Command nodes, so if it has an order, everyone at 3 inches of it gains critical 1, which is great. And then I think its third ability is like it gives out tokens or whatever. Something like that. Overall, though, still a great unit. Not going to be doing that much attacking. I think he only has 8 inches, and he has 2 blacks and 2 reds, so not going to be even hitting that well. But all the B1s. There's like 5 B1s in the list. Then you have a B1 with a special gun that's really, really good. Double rainbow, critical 2, suppressive 1, maybe impact on it. I don't remember. Then you have 2 B2 super battle droids, which are really good in this game. They have armor 1, 5 health with red saves. And their arm cannon is 12 inches with 3 reds and a white with suppressive 1. And they have a PK series worker droid, which does nothing unless there's an objective. Then it just camps that.
SWAT thing,
Yeah. It is, however, a 10 activation list, which is the highest activations, which is automatically really good. Everything has suppressive 1, so if you're going against a 1 courage Imperial infantry squad or Republic squad, you can make them panic and roll black dice over and over again, even if your actual shots aren't doing that much damage, which is most likely going to be the case, but you're doing a lot of damage through panic. The problem is that all your B1s are like 4 HP with white saves, so they can get one-shotted pretty easily. That being said, though, I still think Imperial Separatist Infantry Squad's really good. It just has so many models. It can overwhelm on any objective. It can overwhelm defensively with a suppressive 1 on any objective. You've got some standby tactics with B1s with loadout cards. And the supers are really good. Not great at dealing damage because they only have 4 dice, but surviving-wise, they can survive quite a bit longer than B1s. So I feel like they're actually an A tier. I think they're actually, I feel like definitely above Rebel, Rebel Special Forces. Trying to decide if they're better than Imperial. I think I think Imperial Special Forces are equal to them because those Scout Troopers have Courage too, so they're not really going to fall for this panic attack as much, and they're going to initiate their own panic attacks against your Courage B1s. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Once they get to range, they're just going to start one-shotting B1s and suppressing other B1s. I do think they're equal, but I think Imperial Special Forces probably has a slight advantage. Yeah, so I think that's a tier list, to be honest. I think both Republic squads are really strong. You can probably take one of these other squads and win with them against Republic. It's just I think you're going to struggle. It's going to be an uphill battle. I think all these other squads are really good. They're all solid A tiers. I think Rebel Infantry is really good. They're so close to S tier. It's just they don't have that much good offensive capabilities besides the Rebel Sniper, and that's only 1 unit out of 9. So
yeah, excuses.
Yeah, I think the only unit that I'm not really gonna take is the Commando Droids. I think they're personally a B tier. But they can go like A-, because that's the same thing. They're still good, though. They have Mana Guards, which are really strong. Those are probably like the 2nd best unit in the game. It's just that they just don't have anything that's really special. Imperial Infantry Squad's the wild card. They have 2 of the best units in the game, 2 really good units, and then everything else is still good, just mid because they have no special abilities. Or if they have special abilities, they're good, but like not super necessary. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're the wild card. Like, they're the list that could probably kill anything, but at the same time, just don't have the tricks to guarantee that win.
You don't got the guts to do such a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you want all Separatists in S tier and all Republican D tier. So I don't know if we should ask your opinion. But I guess what's your opinion on the placements in general?
Well, for starters, I think they all suck. Objectively speaking, from a completely neutral standpoint, they all suck. So Separatist wins. No,
I mean,
in all honesty, though, I do think, as much as I love the Separatist, I don't want to say they did them dirty, but
I mean, the Specialist Infantry squad's really good. I think they can honestly take any of these squads and win. Like, the Republic Infantry squad has, like, mostly Courage 1 units, so, like, that's technically Separatist's best matchup against Courage 1 units. I just think Republic's not going to take any damage from the actual attacks, so the only thing they worry about is suppression, which kills, but kills very slowly.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much guaranteeing killing at least 2 B1s a turn. One-shotting, and then they have like 2 or 3 other attacks, which who knows what that does.
Yeah.
They're still really strong though. I think they can win any objective just because of how many bodies they have. And their double rain dice gun is really good. Like if you can keep that guy alive to like the last turn of the game, I think you're in a really good spot. And he did enough to win the game. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's pretty even. I feel like I said, I think most of these squads are evenly matched. I just think the 2 Republic ones have a lot of tricks that in Standard Legion are really good. Maybe in Special Forces they're not really great. We haven't played those 2 squads yet, but just from looking at it all on paper, those 2 squads look really strong.
Wait a minute. Wait, I noticed something.
What?
All right, so you screwed up on a bit. So you see the rebel troops?
The Rebel Trooper squad? You mean infantry?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So ignore that. You put the droids in not S. I think that's a crime against humanity.
Oh, but putting the droids in not S. Not putting the droids in S. Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think they're good. I think they're good, but they're just. I think the ARC Troopers and their Republic Clone Troopers just have a little bit more tech that they can use to their advantage.
Yeah. Also, I'm sending you the improved true version of the tier list.
The improved true version. I'll look at that afterwards. Yeah, but anyways, thank you guys for joining us. That is our tier list for all the Strike Force lists based on just how they look. We obviously covered objectives and squads in the past, objectives in this podcast here. Hope you guys enjoyed the series. Yeah, we are done covering the skirmish dudes for Star Wars Legion Special Forces mode, not skirmish mode, Special Forces mode. Figured it'd be a fun little video to do. Ended up being a 3-series podcast. Glad to be done with it. Next one, we're looking at doing the, Separatist infantry. No, not sorry. The list building for Separatist and Tempest Force for a tournament, because that's what we're going to. We're going to build some lists. We might actually get a Legion rep in tomorrow, maybe. It's Christmas Eve, though, so I guess that depends on your schedule to see if that might work or not. We'll see.
Well, I'm running over there right now. Christmas Eve. That's when we start.
Christmas Eve. Yep. But yeah, no, I think this... Yeah, I think it's a fun mode. We got 1 game in. We played Rebel Commandos versus Commando Droids. I do kind of want to get more games in, but because of that tournament coming up, I want to get more reps in with actual Legion more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be fun to do Republic Infantry versus Separatist Infantry, just because those do seem like the most evenly matched squads. Even though this tier list doesn't really show that, but it is. All right. Well, anyways, I have been Mike.
I've been Glacierdon.
And we hope you guys enjoyed our podcast episode. We will see you in the next one. May the Force be with you.
Ciao.